What up, my comic fans? Kara here, Capital K Comic Reviews, coming at you with another video. This one we're going to be talking about WW84 and what happened there. But let's get into it. Let's go. Alright fams, well, this is going to be my review on WW84, and yeah, if you guys have not watched this, watch the movie, and if you want to waste your time going to watch the movie, go click off the video, go watch the movie, come back and watch this review. I'm not going to say any more until you click off, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to click off, but if you want to go watch it, come back and click it. But for the rest of you guys that want to stay here and don't really care about going to watch the movie and just want to see reviews and stuff like that, this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm going to try and cram as much as I can into it, because the amount of crap that this movie deals out to you is quite immense. But yeah, we'll kick into it anyway. So WonderWoman 84, you know, if you go into this thinking that you're going to see like a continuation of Wonder Woman 1, don't, because you're not. You're going to get sadly disappointed. If you're going to go into this movie thinking you're going to get good characters, good storytelling, good filming, don't. You're not. If you go into this movie expecting to just get entertained, you'll be entertained, basically. This movie is just a straight popcorn flick, something to pass 2 and a bit hours or however long it was. If you want to sit down there with your wife or your kids and just get entertained for a couple of hours, this is the movie for you. If you're a huge Wonder Woman fan and expecting Wonder Woman lore or things like that, you're going to get disappointed. There are a couple of things in there that you're going to get probably excited about, but a movie overall, you're going to get disappointed. It's got bad characters, bad storytelling, set in a bad era, man. They did it the worst way possible, I think. So yeah, set in the 80s, and which I think they took a thing out of Stranger Things, because Stranger Things was set in the 80s, but I think the Stranger Things series was done better in the aspect of being set in that genre or set in that decade. You know, for all of us that grew up in the 80s, like myself, you know, we knew that there was cheesy movies out there. We knew that there was cheesy clothing and all this kind of stuff. So we lived through that, so we know what it was like. And just seeing it on the screen reminded me of just the cheesy movies, just the cheesy D-grade, C-grade movies that used to get pumped out in the 80s, and stuff like that. You know, you've got The Naked Gun, you've got Police Academy, and things along that line, National Lampoon's Vacation and stuff like that, Chevy Chase and all that, kind of like those, you know, cheesy, and that's what it was. That, I don't know if that's what they were aiming for, but that's what they gave you, and they gave it to you in abundance. And on top of that, they gave you the feminine tone was, you know, pretty much downing men, and when you watch the movie, it is semi blatant, but semi not. But basically, every guy in this movie is an asshole, really. And you take the first scene where she's no, not the first scene, sorry, the second scene where she's in the mall, because the first scene is this whole other thing, but the second scene when she's in the mall was just tragic, man. Every dude in there is, you got 4 guys that in there that are robbing a jewelry store, and they rob this jewelry store, but they don't want the jewels, they want what's in the back, because they know it's a black market front store for a black market artifacts and antiquities black market thing going on behind there. So they knew that, and they want to get back there and get that. So they end up getting back there and stealing a whole bunch of stuff. And one of these items in there is the main thing for this whole movie that's going to drive this whole movie. But they end up doing this and robbing it, and they get chased around the mall and that, and then the render cops are freeze and stuff like that. And then, you know, before that, Wonder Woman's coming in and she's saving people. Well, I won't say she's saving people, I'll say she's saving women. Now why I say this is because the only people that she's saving are women, and the only people that she's stopping from doing things is men. And, you know, that's just sexism at its thing. Now, I'm not against sexism unless it's really, you know, if you're going over for girl power, woman power, equal rights and stuff like that. I'm not against that, but if you're jamming it in my face, then I'm kind of against that. You know, so, you know, girls are good as just as good as boys as doing anything, but to get it slammed in our face like this, you're saving the jogger from two guys in a Firebird, a Pontiac Firebird. You're saving a bride that's got accidentally pushed over the bridge, and then you're you know, you're saving this little girl from these four male robbers, but you're not stopping the four teenage girls from stealing from the shop. You know, so it's like, okay, sweet as then. But that whole scene was just like, I don't know what's going on. It was just over cheesified. It was just oversaturated with colour. Now, I know the 80s was a colourful era. God knows I know because I lived through it. Pastel colours, bright colours, big hair, bright makeup, all that kind of stuff. But that whole scene was just tragic. Her maneuverability around the mall was just weird, and how she was doing it. And I know they were trying to make it look overly cool, but they made it look overly cool and it looked stupid to me. But yeah, so that's that scene. But if we flick back to the start of the movie, where it was little Diana, 9-year-old Diana, starting off, and she starts off with this race, or this endurance race, or Olympics, or whatever you want to call it. She starts off with this race with full-grown Amazons, and that was probably the first red flag for me in the movie, because I automatically thought back to the first one, where her mother wouldn't let her partake in any of that kind of stuff, any combat kind of stuff, training or anything. But yet here she is, as a 9-year-old girl, doing all these things. And from what the first movie told us is that she wasn't allowed to do that kind of thing until she was a teenager. And then got told by her mother, you know, don't give her any special treatment. Treat her hard, you know, train her hard, treat her hard, and see what happens. But yet we get to WW84, and there's this 9-year-old Diana competing with full-grown Amazons. But anyway, she goes through this and she's winning the race. So this 9-year-old girl is winning against full-grown Amazons. You know, unbeknownst to them all at the time that she's Wonder Woman, or she's Zeus's daughter. So, but she ends up getting knocked off her horse when she's in first place because she's too worried about beating all these other Amazons. But she gets knocked off. And she finds a way to cheat and finds a shortcut to the end. But before she gets to the end, she gets stopped and pulled aside to say, hey, lying's not the way to go. There's no good that can come from lying. Only truth will set you free. So that's the premise of the whole movie. That's the whole message of the whole movie. Now, if you forget that as the movie goes along, it's understandable, because to me, I didn't really get that until pretty much the end of the third act. But that may be just me, but you'll be forgiven to think that if you forgot about that first scene. So yeah, so we come along to the mall. They take this artifact. Now this artifact is a crystal that gives you the ability to, if you touch the crystal, you can make a wish and your wish can come true. So kind of like a djinn, or you know, it's got kind of like what they call the monkey paw effect, where it will give you something but it will take something away from you. So that's the whole premise of and that's the object that drives this whole movie forward. So there's a character, I think his name is I want to say Max Lord. I know it's Lord, but I think it's Max Lord. But guys, that's just an indication on how forgettable these characters are. But he's the main antagonist in this movie, and even at points, I felt like he was an extra antagonist, not the actual main antagonist of the whole movie. But that may be just me. But you've got him, and then you've got Cheetah. So Cheetah starts off because she works at the Smithsonian with Diana, and as soon as Cheetah hit the scene, straight away she started walking in, and people were ignoring her and stuff like that. I straight away thought of Electro, Jamie Foxx's Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2, because his character is, well, her character is identical to his one, because he gets ignored and he gets put down, the same as her. So you get the same, oh, you know, I'm a nobody, I'm just a nerd, and stuff like that. And so she's not confident and stuff like that. And so I got the vibe of Electro from her. But yeah, she comes along and she's in there, and you know, people are ignoring her and da 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 da. But these artifacts that these guys steal end up coming to the Smithsonian, and end up being given to her to look over. Now this is in the middle of her meeting Diana for the first time, and you know, pretty much kind of like not falling in love, but you know, like, whoa, I want to be like her kind of thing. And ends up getting to get to know Diana. So in the middle of them meeting and talking, she gets given these artifacts, or saying she's going to get given these artifacts, da 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 da, and they end up becoming friends because Diana is interested in what these artifacts are, and what certain artifacts are, especially one in particular, which is the main artifact of the whole movie. So they get to know each other over that, and become friends. And they end up finding out from this artifact that it is like a dream stone, where it'll give you a dream wish and stuff like that. So you kind of get inkling, and this is how, you know, they just keep adding cheese on it. A random guy walks past that's working there, just puts his hand on the stone and says, oh, I wouldn't mind a coffee, and then just walks off, you know, like it's a joke. And as he's walking off, this guy comes up, oh, I've got an extra coffee, anyone want one? And this guy's like, hey, whoa, how lucky for me. And you know, and then you're like, you get that cheesiness, and then you know, because of previous scenes just before that of Diana going through her loneliness, you know, being alone and missing her love interest and stuff like that, that you kind of get the inkling, well, she's going to wish for him back, and that's how he gets back. That's why we're like all thinking in the trailer, how the hell was he back? But this is how they're getting back. So she, I think she just thinks. Yeah, she just thinks of the wish, because you as the viewer, you already know that that's what she desires. So she touched the stone, the wind blows, so you know that the wish has been come true, and he's obviously been made to come aware. But we'll get to that in a minute. But I want you to bear in mind that you're only allowed one wish. It only grants you one wish. All right, so it'll give you your dream wish, but it'll take something from you. All right, so Diana wishes for her love interest to come back. And then Cheetah ends up wishing that she'd be more like Diana, confident, and you know, but not knowing that Diana is Wonder Woman. So when she wishes that, she starts getting superhuman powers, strong, fast, and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's how that happens. But for Cheetah, she gets given her powers, but she gets her humanity and her kindness taken away from her. And when Diana or Wonder Woman does it, she gets her strength, and that gets taken from her, because that's her most valued most valued asset. As Cheetah's most valued is her humanity, her kindness. And so anyway, we skip to a party where Diana walks in there, and she's trying to track down this guy Max Lord, because she finds out that Max Lord was after this artifact. Now apparently this 1980s con man businessman knows about this ancient relic that's been going through cultures over the centuries. He knows about it somehow. You don't get explained how he knows, he just knows. And he's after this artifact, and she finds out when she goes back to look for the artifact that he was the one that was after it. So she goes and tries to find him to see what's up, you know. And she ends up going to this party, and when she walks in the party, now this is how sexually, you know, thing it is that she goes to this party, and every guy in the party is paying her attention. Every single one. You know, feel them coming up. Hey, what's your name? You know, what are you up to? Hey, what's going on? And she's just like, oh no, it's just, come on, man, it's just stupid, eh? That's just total stupidity. And it gets to one guy that comes up and says, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. And she blows him off, and then he says this line from the first, I can't remember what the line, but he says this line from the first movie, which piques her interest and turns her around. She's like, how do you know that? And then he says another few lines from it. So as they're doing it, they're doing the camera swing around both of them. And, you know, swing around, and this dude, you know, it's some stranger. And then it spins around a second time, and then boom, it's, what's his name, Trevor, her love interest that she'd wish back. Now, here's another plot thing. She wished back Trevor, but for some reason, the filmmakers and that decided what we're going to do. We're just going to grab this random guy, and we're basically going to kill him, his soul anyway, rip his soul out, and we're going to put Trevor's soul in this strange body, and boom, there you go, and give him to Diana, and oh, here we go. So they basically killed off a dude to bring this dude back, so she had a love interest in the whole movie, and that was just that's just dumb moment. But you know, the tracks along, and then you get to see Cheetah's losing her humanity, and then she goes and confronts a guy that confronted her in Central Park, a drunk guy that, you know, tried to hand her, but you know, you could tell that he was trying to rape her and stuff like that. So she goes back there when she knows that she's fast and she's got a bit strong, and decides to kick the crap out of this guy. You know, retaliation or revenge or whatever it was. That's fine, man, but you've turned this into a total girl power flick movie, and it didn't really need to be that. Wonder Woman 1 was fine. You got that she was a strong woman, she was about women independence and all that stuff, and that was fine. It was a fantastic movie, nothing against that. But when it's jammed down your throat and slapped in your face like that, it's just like, come on, man, you know, come on. But she ends up doing that, and that's how you know she's losing humanity and losing her kindness and stuff. But you know, and we go to Max Lord, and he ends up getting the stone, and he ends up wishing that he'd become the Dreamstone or become this artifact. So the artifact, you know, going in him, and he becomes it. And his whole premise is to, it's kind of loosely based around he wants to be powerful. You know, he wants to be influential. He wants to be powerful. He wants to be important. And in doing so, they add his son into the mix, and he wants his son to be proud of him, but he doesn't want his son to be around. Oh, I ain't got time for him, but I want my son to be proud of me. But why was it my weekend? I ain't got time for him. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, dude, you know what he's doing. But he ends up, you have to touch the stone to make a wish, and you have to say the wish. From what I found out, so he goes around and he's asking people, what do you actually wish for? So he'll go to people that are of influence or anything that'll get him what he wants, so he can take what he wants from them to get him higher up the social ladder and stuff. So he does this, and he ends up getting all the way to, and he ends up, you know, destroying a lot of things along the way. People with their wishes just backfiring on them and stuff like that, and he ends up getting to the president because he wants the president's influence and power and stuff like that, and finds out that that there's this technology that for some reason in the Oval Office, they've got these top secret boards up that have got top secret information on them, but they have neglected to take them down after this top secret meeting that they've had. And this random dude just walks in, Max Lord, and hey, blah, 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 talking to the president, blah, 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 blah. Oh, hey, what are these? These top secret, blah, blah, blah. And the president tells him, because he asked the president what he wished for. So when he got the president's power and that off him, he asked him what are those, and the president told him, da 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 da. Wonder Woman and Trevor end up getting there and trying to find him and stop him as well. And when they try to stop him, Cheetah enters the fray, and she's probably about half Cheetah-ish at this stage. So she's aware that she's got abilities, and she's clicking onto the fact that Diana is actually Wonder Woman, even though she's never met Wonder Woman, or no one knows who Wonder Woman is, because hey, she hit those cameras in the mall, and so no one knows. And you know, I've hid from all these hundreds of people that I've done hero acts around, and they don't know I exist. But for some reason, you click onto the fact that, oh, she knows, oh, you're Wonder Woman, so Diana's Wonder Woman. So, and they have a fight because they get to the realization that they have to stop Max Lord, and the only way to stop him is to either destroy him or relinquish your wish that you had. Now, Cheetah, being the way she is, she doesn't want to relinquish her popularity or her status now, because she's quite happy with it. So she ends up going against Diana and she ends up stopping Diana and from stopping Max Lord from escaping. But he ends up getting away. Because Cheetah stopped Wonder Woman. Cheetah ends up jumping on the helicopter with Max, and they fly to, you know, God knows where they flew to, but they flew to this place where this control room for this technology that can touch the world, touch any technology, past or present. And that's where Max Lord's like, if I do this, can I touch everyone in the world and ask them for what their wishes, and then I can grab what I want, which is kind of stupid because it's not physically touching them, you idiot, which is how you're meant to do it. But hey, we'll go along because it's a popcorn movie. And you know, and Diana knows that the only way to do it is to relinquish her wish, but she's kind of reluctant to relinquish it. But you know, her love interest is saying you need to, because you're losing your power. You won't be able to stop Cheetah or stop Max Lord. And this is how she gets into her rage mode, which gives her a nice ability that we all know, but leads to another plot hole for me. So she ends up relinquishing her wish for Trevor. She walks away, and Trevor says in the background, "I'll forever love you, Diana." Da, 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 da. And she's mad, you know, frustrated with emotion. She ends up running. She ends up hooking the like a building with the rope, flinging up in the air, and all of a sudden she's starting to learn how to fly, like she does in the cartoons, like she does in the comics, which is kind of cool but cheesy as hell, because how she does it and how she's doing it, and you're like, well, nah. When Clark Kent first learned how to fly in Man of Steel, it was believable because he was jumping and you could see him forcefully. The wind was, you know, anyone being up that altitude knows that it ain't no smooth sailing. It's just, or if you're flying at that speed, it's just wind's blasting. So, yeah, but she's getting a light breeze through here, and she's flying through the air and then grabbing the cloud, and that's how she's learning how to fly. So, it's a good thing for you Wonder Woman fans that, hey, she can fly now, but for some reason she doesn't know how to do that in Justice League or in Batman vs Superman. She doesn't know how to do it. Must have lost that ability along the way, as well as another ability that she learned earlier on, where you get to see the invisible jet. She makes the fighter jet invisible. So those are probably the two good things that you get to see from the movie, is these two abilities from the comics and cartoons she brings into the big screen. But anyway, they get to these different destinations in lightning speed time, which physically doesn't make sense, but they get there anyway. But before she has to go fight Max Lord and Cheetah, I have to stop off at Washington first to grab my armor. Now this is the old armor that's been sitting in there from an ancient Amazon warrior, which is a nice cameo of Linda Carter at the end, being this warrior, and that's the golden armor you see in the trailer. And that golden armor to me is crap. It kind of looks crappy, cheap. When she first flies into where they are with it on. It looks like when she lands, it looks like she's about to fall over because she hasn't landed properly, but that's just what it looks like to me. And she ends up fighting the full-fledged cheetah, and cheetah looks not good. First look at her, she looks kind of manky. A close-up shot with her, she looked alright, but anyway, they have a fight. It's not spectacular, and basically if Cheetah wasn't Cheetah and didn't have the powers that Wonder Woman did, basically Wonder Woman would have murdered her because she electrocuted her in the water. But anyway, you got out, and she was, pretty messed up and messed up in that. But and she ends up fighting Max Lord, and he's in this particle beam, beam me up Scotty beam, that's like, touching the world. Yeah, granted. And Wonder Woman's trying to lasso him with the rope, but can't get him, because of the wind flying around, and that can't get him. She's feeling defeated, and then blah blah, she's talking about nothing comes good of your wish, or of lying and cheating and stuff like that. You must relinquish your wish, guys. And then Max Lord's like, it's not going to work on me because I'm not going to do it. And she's like, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to everyone else. And it pans down, and somehow she has managed, while she's sitting there feeling kind of depressed and defeated, she's somehow got the rope or the lasso of truth around his ankle, even though she couldn't get it around him, but got it around him. And they all relinquished their wishes. Everyone in the world relinquished their wishes. He ends up relinquishing his wish because he hears his son's in danger, because it's pretty much, the world's gone to crap. And then that's pretty much it. He goes and he's relinquished his wish, but he's still allowed to get on the presidential helicopter and fly to DC to get his son, which comes out randomly out of the forest, and it's okay. And then it's like, all right, Cheetah's gone back to normal. And then the next scene is everything's honky-dory. Nothing's happened, everything's fine, even though the world's turned to crap. Cities have been destroyed and civilizations have been ripped apart, but hey, it's Christmas time. And that's pretty much it. And then she gets to meet the guy that Trevor took over. He comes out of the out of the store, and and they're talking to her, just kind of hitting on each other, but he ends up leaving. Oh, hey, sweet ass baby, but I'm out, I've got to go. And then it's like, and that's it. So the whole movie is just crap upon crap upon crap, and it's just a whole lot of colluded mess, man. It's just scenes were just chopped and screwed and slammed together, and then it's just like, but then you get the nice little cameo at the end with Linda Carter, like mid-credit scene, like, it seems to me like they seem to be copying the MCU, but hey, I'm all for these mid-credits and the end credit scenes. But it shows her at the end, and it shows her walking through, saving this baby and her lady from a falling pole, and you think it's Wonder Woman, but it is, but it turns around and it's Linda Carter. And when you go back on the movie and you see the scene where this ancient heroine is battling all guys, all men, you can see just her eyes, and you couldn't tell at the time unless you're a super fan, but you knew straight away, that was Linda Carter. So that was a nice little twist. So the three things I took away from this movie that I liked: seeing the invisible jet, even though it was cheesy; seeing the Wonder Woman flying, even though it was cheesy as hell. It was good to see those two, and seeing Linda Carter come back into the fray in some sort of way. So that was cool to see that. But the rest of the movie, guys, was crap. It was just not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. And like I said, I was a huge fan of the first movie. Absolutely love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Perfect casting. I don't know what the director was thinking when she did the first one to doing the second one. She did the first one flawlessly. The second one, she just ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. So she's ruined a perfectly good what could have been trilogy of Wonder Woman, and put it in the same boat as like Birds of Prey and and things of that nature. So yeah, guys, if you want to go watch the movie, go watch the movie. I wouldn't waste my time with it really, but you know, that's just me. I probably won't watch it again, and sadly disappointed. I don't know why DC can't get it right. Well, they seem to be hitting and missing with their films. I don't know why. I don't know what. I wish that they could get their stuff together, and then bring out good superhero movies from their characters, because they do have a lot of key characters out here that they can bring to life and they can do a good job with. I just don't know why they haven't. I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's my review on WW84. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you get notified when I drop new content on my channel. But hey, that's it from me, guys. We'll see you on the next videos. Weeze out.